At Dad's 60th birthday, our house was packed with laughter, music, and the smell of grilled steaks. My mother had gone all out. Gold balloons, a cake shaped like a vintage car, and a guest list filled with Dad's friends, co-workers, and neighbors. My brother, Mark, stood proudly beside him the entire evening, taking all the credit for planning the party. I didn't mind. Mark had always been the golden child, the one who could do no wrong, while I was the quiet one who never quite figured life out. I had moved back home recently after losing my job and was trying to rebuild. It wasn't easy, but I was getting there, piece by piece. Still, every family gathering felt like a test I was destined to fail. My parents never said it outright, but I could feel it. The comparison, the disappointment, the subtle sighs when I mentioned my plans. Tonight, I just wanted to celebrate Dad's milestone and avoid any tension. But fate had other plans. After dinner, Mark stood up, raised his glass, and tapped his fork against it with that smug grin he always wore before making a scene. "Everyone," he said dramatically, "I have a special announcement." The room quieted, and I smiled politely, expecting a toast to Dad. Instead, he looked right at me. "It's time to celebrate not just Dad's birthday, but also a new beginning for my brother here." I blinked. "What are you talking about?" Mark chuckled. "Pack your bags, loser. I rented your room out." The guests laughed awkwardly, thinking it was a joke. But his expression didn't change. "You've been freeloading for months, man. It's time to grow up." My heart sank. The laughter died down. Even Dad looked confused. "Mark, what is this?" he asked. Mark shrugged casually. "I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. He's been living here rent-free, doing who knows what, while you and Mom pay for everything. I found a tenant who'll actually contribute." I felt my face heat up as the room fell silent. My mother's eyes darted between us, and a few guests whispered uncomfortably. "Mark, that's enough," Dad said firmly. But Mark didn't stop. "No, it's not enough. Maybe this will push him to finally get his act together. I'm tired of carrying his dead weight." That was it. The humiliation, the laughter, the pitying stares, it all hit at once. I stood up quietly, forcing a smile. "You're right, Mark," I said, my voice steady even though my hands were trembling. "I should go." Dad tried to stop me, but I just grabbed my coat and stepped outside into the cold night air. The laughter and music behind me faded as I walked down the driveway, feeling like I'd lost everything all over again. I had nowhere to go, just a backpack and a broken heart. I sat in my car for a long time, staring at the steering wheel. But somewhere in that silence, anger turned into determination. The next morning, I packed my things and left quietly before anyone woke up. I crashed at a friend's place, picked up a few odd jobs, and began working tirelessly on something I'd put off for years. A small online tech startup idea I'd once shared with Dad but abandoned after Mark mocked it. I coded late into the night, learned new skills, and poured everything into it. It wasn't glamorous, but it was mine. Months turned into a year. Slowly, the project gained traction. Investors showed interest. Then one day, I got a call from a major client who wanted to buy our software outright. The deal changed everything. Within 2 years, I wasn't just stable. I was successful. I rented an office, hired a small team, and even started mentoring young entrepreneurs who'd been told they weren't good enough. Then, one morning, I got a call from Mom. Her voice was quiet. "Your dad's not doing well. He's asking for you." My chest tightened. I hadn't been home since that night. When I arrived, Dad was sitting on the porch, friendlier but still with that gentle smile. "Son," he said softly, "I'm proud of you. I heard about your company." I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. "Thanks, Dad." Just then, Mark pulled into the driveway. He looked different, stressed, thinner. Mom told me his investments had gone wrong, and he'd lost his job. He gave me a weak smile. "Hey man," he muttered awkwardly. "I didn't expect to see you here." I looked at him for a long moment, remembering that night, his cruel smirk, the laughter. But instead of anger, I felt pity. "I came to see Dad," I said simply. He nodded and walked past me without another word. Before I left, Dad took my hand. "You could hold a grudge, but you didn't," he said quietly. "You chose to rise instead." That night, as I drove away, I realized he was right. Mark's cruelty had once broken me, but it had also set me free. I didn't need to prove myself to anyone anymore. The boy who walked out of that birthday party with nothing had built his own life from the ashes. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like the loser my brother called me. I felt like someone who finally won, by walking away with dignity.